This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask with your host, Dr. Judith Briles, on the Rockstar Radio Network. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money, and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by Author U and the Book Shepherd on the Rockstar Radio Network. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
I've got one of my very favorite people with us for the hour who has got such a labyrinth of expertise that we will be weaving in and out, and I know that there's no way we can cover it all in this short hour, but Daniel Hall is amazing. He's an author, he's a speaker, consultant, coach, lawyer, nurse, and sometimes he claims to be a blogger. He's also the creator of an amazing, and I mean amazing, and the very popular Real Fast book program, which is designed to help people, and that means authors, help crank out very high quality, highly profitable books real fast. And he's got all the gadgets and gimmicks and the wizardry to really get out there and promote them so they turn into fast cash. He gave up a very lucrative law practice to earn his living out online just 5 years ago, and he will tell you he has never, ever worked back. Hey, Daniel, welcome to the program.
Hi, Judith. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we're going to have a fun, and
we always do, Judith.
Yeah, we do. I guess I should tell you that Daniel was our top-ranked speaker at the Extravaganza just a couple of weeks ago here in Denver, Colorado. He'll be back next year, really creating a lot more of his magicry, and that he really talked about some of the things that you could do on Kindle, but he can do a lot of things. It's just not Kindle. It's a variety of other areas. So, Daniel, why don't we just kind of jump in, and if you were to identify maybe the top 3 areas that you consistently get asked questions about, how to do it, how to make it work, and how to make it profitable, what would they be?
Well, one of the things that I am most asked about, primarily because I most preach about it, is setting up reoccurring and passive royalty income streams, primarily through my publishing and writing efforts. So a lot of people I have found really want to emulate that, and rightly so, because the beautiful thing about setting up these sorts of reoccurring, residual royalty income streams is that once they are set it, and to borrow from Ron Popeil, they are set it and forget it, or they can be anyway, and that really gets a lot of people very excited, because lots of folks want to be able to continue to make good money with their work, even while they are taking their children to soccer practice or traveling, taking a cruise in the Caribbean, or maybe going to visit the grandparents, up at the mountain cabin, whatever it happens to be. The income, this is the way I try to set it up, the income continues to roll in, whether or not you are working at it at that one set time. In other words, you take the action once. In this case, the action is publishing, and then you continue to potentially reap benefits from that action month in, month out, year in, year out. And instead, you've heard of a vicious cycle, Judith? Mm-hmm. I call this the delicious cycle, because that's precisely what this is. So I get asked about that. The other thing that I get asked a lot about is how do you effectively market what you have published, so that that you can continue to bring in new prospects and continue to build relationships with present customers. Okay, so I get asked a lot about that, and there's a variety of ways that I personally do that, and I personally teach my people, my loyal friends and subscribers on how to do that. And the third thing that I get asked a lot about is Kindle, specifically Kindle and ebook publishing with Kindle. And I think the reason for that is because it actually takes the first two elements that I talked to. First, the setting up residual and passive income sources, and actually marketing to make sure that those income sources continue to generate income, and it encapsulates both of those. Kindle does that, or it can do that depending on how you set it up. So those are the three main things I get asked about, Judith.
Well, I mean, I love the phrase "the delicious cycle," because that's really what it is. That what you refer to as those cash flow monies that come in. I still do call them mailbox money. That it just comes in, and of course, it doesn't come in the mailbox anymore. It's called electronic transfer. But
yeah, exactly. But you can still use it to pay your mortgage and your car payment, and the groceries, the light bill, the cable bill. So that's the weird thing about those bills. They continue to come in month after month, so you have to have money to cover that, right? So that's why I love this.
Exactly, and if you do have a delicious cycle going, and you do decide to take that cruise, which you and I both enjoy doing, that you really do have to have a mechanism to keep covering that as you're off, and you don't have to worry about making the payments. They just get made. Exactly right. Yeah. One of the things that you talked about at the, let's talk into some of the things on Kindle, because that really is where you have an expansive expertise in. That you had talked about some of the techniques about using 3 days on Kindle as the extravaganza. For example, you said that, and you correct me if I have this wrong, that you said you want to be listed on a Thursday before the Thursday that it goes live, and that you don't want to go live over the weekend on a Friday through a Sunday. You want to expand on that a little bit? Sure.
Well, the main thing that folks need to understand is, well, first off, what is our intent? What is our goal? What is our aim as a Kindle publisher? Well, in most cases, it's to sell a book and make money from it and make a royalty payment from that. Okay? So I'm going to assume that that's our game plan, that's our goal. And if that is our goal, then we do not want to put our books free on the most the highest volume sales days, which are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we go live with a free book on a Thursday before Friday and Saturday or Sunday, because when it goes off free, what tends to happen when at midnight on Thursday night, when a price gets affixed to it again, where you have to actually buy it in order to get it, right? There is a momentum that starts with all of the free activity going on. That as soon as it flips over, many times what happens is the people just start buying it. I mean, it starts to move. So you don't want to put it on one of the most the highest sales volume days, right? Because you want to make money, and this is the best way that I've found to do it, to actually put it up for free if you're going to use that strategy, using the KDP Select program on Thursday, and then comes down on Thursday, and then rolls into the high volume sales days. And it's a beautiful thing, actually.
Okay. And so what kind of, you must have some data, Daniel, about what kind of you could expect. So if you blow out free, what would let's say a newbie, or we're going to call him eaglet and offer you, what would a eaglet, brand new spanking author expect in getting some attention? And what are some of the tips that you would recommend that he or she do to start gathering some buzz about them to build into their free day?
Well, yes. Okay, so here's a couple things to do. First off, every book is different, and there's just no way to predict, and every genre is different, and every author is different. So to be able to say yes, this would work, or no, it would not, would be really I think difficult. And I don't feel comfortable with making any representations there. However, what I am interested in is talking about some of the things that you could do as a brand new author to actually get some momentum going behind your book. And they are primarily free. Fortunately, they're primarily free techniques that you could use. Okay, and the main thing is, well, I shouldn't say the main thing. There's a couple things. First off, there are places on Facebook that they're pages that are set up, or they're like fan pages. And if you go to Facebook and just type in into free Kindle books into the Facebook search engine, a number of pages will pop up. Ask to join those groups in advance. Okay, in advance, and then tell them when your book goes live, goes free. Okay, that's
an announcement. You make a formal announcement.
Yeah, you tell them, hey, go get my book. It's going to be available for free. And it's free to everyone, right? So, and that's a beautiful thing.
All right. Well, that thought we need to continue over. We're going to take a quick break to cheer our sponsors who make our show possible. And then I want to come back into maybe some taglines you suggest for some of those clickbait titles to get them to jump on board with that. You're listening to Your Guide Book Publishing. This is Judith Briles. My guest is Daniel Hall. We'll be right back.
Didn't know what to ask with your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Is there a book in you or another? Author U will show you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you'll find a supportive and brainstorming community that's connected and creative no matter where you live. Author U brings in national experts for its book camps and annual author extravaganza held each May. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through Author U's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. The Resource, its online book publishing news magazine, is content-heavy and it's free. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz, punch, and panache, Author U is for you. If you're a hobbyist or a casual author, it's not. Join Author U today through its website at authoru.org. Follow Author U on Twitter at AuthorU and on Facebook at Author U, where timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted daily. Author U, where the author goes to become seriously successful.
Change the way you publish online. WaveCloud is a new forum for authors to manage all their books' information in one place from start to finish, including pricing and listing summary. To learn more or sign up for email updates, visit wavecloud.com.
Every picture tells a story. And it's a truism that people do judge a book by its cover. Nick Sellinger and NZ Graphics have been in the business of producing superior graphic cover design and interior layout for self-published authors, independent and traditional publishers for years. He has developed a reputation for excellent work, fast turnarounds, and best of all, affordable pricing. NZ Graphics also produces ebooks and book marketing materials such as posters, sell sheets, postcards, bookmarks, business cards, logos, and more. Books designed for his clients have won multiple book awards, including Best Book Award by U.S. Book News, multiple Evie Awards from the Colorado Independent Publishers Association, Indie Book Awards, the San Francisco Book Festival Award, and Freedom Medal Award from Valley Forge. Visit www.nzgraphics.com or call 303-985-4174 for more details about making your book the success it should be. Mention that you are an FOJ, friend of Judith's, and that you heard about NZ Graphics on your guide to book publishing.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Hi, we're Daniel and I always say this when we come back after a break, that you should always hear our conversations that we have going on between. But we're actually doing some strategizing and planning on what we're going to do with a really special feature we're going to introduce next year at the extravaganza. You do not want to miss it. It'll be amazing. But here's where we are. Daniel was leading into some strategies, how to start building that momentum to lead into your free page that you're going to announce on the Thursday. You're never going to do this on Friday through Sunday on Amazon, because as Daniel says, they are the top buying days. So why in the heck would you want to X yourself out of that? So, and as Daniel also said, that every book, every author, every genre is going to have some difference. So we can't do total cookie cutter, but we can do some strategies to doing momentum building, which starts with Facebook. So Daniel, I'm going to toss it back to you. We were looking for the pages that say free Kindle books or something like that.
Yes, exactly. So you're on Facebook, and there are different places where you can do that. Here's the deal. Okay. What you will do is you will actually set the you will set the day for, like I said, Thursday or even Wednesday, but my suggestion is Thursday. You're going to go and announce that these books are available. Then you're going to go back in and you're going to actually tag the books themselves on Amazon, and you're going to tag them. And if you don't know what I'm talking about there, I could briefly describe that. But essentially,
yes, do it.
You want me to tell you what that is?
I know, but I think
okay. Well, all right. So let's just say you're on your Kindle book listings, right? If you scroll all the way, it's about 2/3 of the way down a listing page on any of the actual listings. You could actually tag your book, and when you do that, you're going to. And what I mean when I say it, what I want to put my point across here is that you are actually tagging it with a specific keyword, and you're going to want to put in there free Kindle book as a tag. you're going to want to put in Kindle Freebie, Freebie, okay, Kindle Freebie, and tag your book with that.
Okay.
And do it before, like basically the day before your book is going to go live. This will help to get it found. And the other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to back at Facebook. You're going to want to tell everyone, any groups that you're in, that your book is live. And you also want to remind people to go get the book, even if they don't have a physical Kindle, a Kindle reader, if they don't have one, because if they have any type of device, if they have a PC, if they have a Mac, if they have an iPad, if they have an Android phone, they can all get the book because Kindle has free readers for all of those things. Okay.
So where do they download those? Just on Amazon?
Yeah, if you go to Amazon and then the Kindle, go to the Kindle bookstore, and one of the choices, I think it's up in, well, depending on when people are listening to this, because they move that site around all the time. Yeah. But essentially the thing is that they can download apps for all of those. Okay. And they don't ever have to actually buy a Kindle. In fact, they have a new Kindle cloud reader that it goes everywhere. You don't even have to. You could actually read the books online. You don't even have to download software. It's in the cloud. So and they can go get your book that way. Okay. So get as remind people, right, that they don't have to have a Kindle to go take advantage of this. An actual, Kindle e-reader.
Here, I mean, we're talking about Facebook, but when you say tell everyone and your group, don't forget that one of the savvy things to do is be in a bunch of groups like on LinkedIn, which are where the action happens actually on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure that you tweet it out, and you may even want to write a special blog on it, but you tell everybody in every social media channel that you can reach out to. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah, you want the book to start being downloaded, because what happens is, and this relates to the metric of how books are displayed on Amazon. The more activity that Amazon sees in a book, the higher it actually starts working. The higher it actually appears in the search results. Do you see? That could be very, very powerful, super powerful, in fact.
So Amazon will start giving. They do favorites, and the more that they see happening with your book, whether it's free or paid for, you will get visual display. Exactly.
You get higher. You end up higher in the search engine rankings, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
And it keeps on rolling. And if you start, and the other thing, of course, that will help is you tell your folks that particularly those folks closest to you, like the people on your Facebook and so forth, that you want reviews. Okay, that's what you're gonna want to ask as well.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. All right, Daniel, is there a fine line? At what time is there a difference between being persistent and being a pest? How often do you let people know this is coming as you build the momentum?
Well, how often? I think I think this is there's no rule on this. I mean, this is all right. Here's the deal. This is sort of my rule of thumb on all of this stuff. Are you adding value to your marketplace? Okay? Are you adding? So when you're communicating with your group, whatever group you're talking about, are you giving them something in addition? I mean, from my standpoint, you could report back in and say, hey, thank you so much. We've jumped up to whatever number 32 on the bestseller list for our category. I'd really like to get to number 1. Could you help push? And I think if you're updating, if you're giving some tips, if you're adding value to the conversation along the way, and then, oh, by the way, don't forget to go download this book if you haven't done so already. I think that's perfectly acceptable. It's all in, it's all about being gracious, right?
Yeah.
It's all about that, and it's the same way that you're gracious in person. You're being gracious, in an online environment.
Mm-hmm. So when you're offering our freebie, this is the whole book for free. It's not just a couple of chapters.
Correct. It's the whole book. It's the whole book.
Okay.
Another good place to announce it, and another good place to get involved is Goodreads. Goodreads. If you go Google that, you'll find it. That's kind of a social networking place, and any place that you have any kind of a social media presence is excellent.
Well, sounds good to me. I mean, that is what you have to do. What goes back to, Daniel, what I always say, this is a business and it's work. And as the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer for your book, you've got to do these things unless you've got buku bucks and you can hire somebody to do it. But here's the truth. Nobody is going to have the passion in the belly, the fire in the belly that the author does.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say. I'm not even sure that even if you were had somebody like that you could actually say, oh yes, this is good, or somebody that would do it as well as you could. Matter of fact, I know that they couldn't.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're coming right up to the bottom of the hour, or right down to the bottom of the hour, I guess I can say. We're going to take another quick commercial break to really let our listeners know about the amazing sponsors we have, our printers, our designers who get involved. All of them are heartily endorsed by Author U. All of them will give you discounts. So both from the Author U reps, their premier partners, and book shepherds. So listen in. We'll be right back with Daniel. We're going to come back to the recurring passive royalty streams. How do we make them rock roll? And he knows how to do it. I promise you. Judith Briles, and you're your guy who book publishing.
And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Since 1987, Color House Graphics has set the standard for quality book production. Whether you decide to print a small quantity of books or need a large print run, depend on Color House to help you. You'll receive professional help and advice the moment you reach one of our representatives. If you mention hearing about us on your guide to book publishing with Judith Briles, we will provide you with a discount on the first order you place. To speak with a project manager, call us toll-free at 800-454-1916 or visit us at www.colorhousegraphics.com.
Do you need postcards that make a statement? How about business cards, flyers, brochures, or NCR forms? Two Vets is the solution for all your printing needs. Providing services specially designed for authors, we deliver exceptional quality colored printing. Most important of all, we specialize in reducing your printing costs. No more waiting. No more standing in lines at your local printer. Online proofing. With our pricing tools calculator, you can get instant quotes on all your printing products, as well as shipping rates all over the United States. Just a few clicks of the mouse and you're on the way to discovering how easy and convenient online color printing should be. Contact our friendly, human account representatives. We recognize that you want answers, not voice prompts. Visit our website at www.tu-vets.com or call 1-800-894-8977.
When Ned Thompson and Harry Shore started Thompson Shore in 1972, they believed employees with great character would make up the best company. They were right. They hired people who were not only experts in bookmaking, but who were obsessed with quality and delivering exceptional customer service. Almost 40 years later, Thompson Shore remains a 100% employee-owned company. Ned and Harry knew that successful customer projects are a direct result of empowered employees. We specialize in all books for large and small publishers. Creating beautiful and well-made books, we're dedicated to pleasing our customers by making the experience a good one from start to finish. The personal touch we have with our customers allows us to be innovative in solving their most difficult challenges. Our platform also ensures that we can remain flexible to meet our customers' unique needs and expectations. Our marketing kit can create buzz for your title, enhancing the promotion of your book during infancy. When you need to test the market to gauge your future sales, we can provide digitally printed books that will transition seamlessly into a larger offset run. From ebook to hard copy to delivery, our skillful customer service teams are at the ready to answer your most pressing question. At Thompson Shore, we know that making the highest quality books requires more than just best technologies. It requires superior customer service, professionalism to the trade, and commitment to environmental and social values. With these standards of excellence in place, you can be sure that we will always help you put your best book forward.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
One of the things that I was sharing with Daniel offline was that when I look at my success as an author, and I have been a very successful author, that I've also had some real lemons in my life with book ideas. Sometimes I've been with publishing creditors. I was with a crook publisher one time, a New York crook publisher that my star agent got me involved in, who happened to be with the William Morris Agency.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember when going to him and saying, "Oh my God, get me out of this contract. This is a disaster. Everything they have done has been so bad and so unethical." And I remember him saying to me, "Well, if you decide to sue, we'll certainly support you and testify for you." And I said, "For God's sakes, you've got me into this. Get me out of it." And of course they never did. So I learned how to write around the book and create a whole new series. But oh my God, what a mess. And I think that I learned a lot from that. And I'm a big believer that if people do want to hear about success, but they really also want to hear about some of the boo-boos, some of the blunders. And the current blog that I have up right now that's up on the authoru.org site, the blog, which I would encourage everyone to subscribe to. I really started in on the 10 biggest blunders I see authors routinely repeat. And then I decided, my God, this thing's so long, I divided it in half. So the next half's going to come next week. But what are some of the mistakes that you think that you've made that you did a correct on and then propelled it into a success, Daniel? Okay.
Well, I guess big mistake number one is that I didn't start sooner to actually branch out and do what I knew was in my heart and become essentially a full-time author, speaker, blogger, purveyor of everything that is good in life. And that's a huge blunder that I wasted so many years before I actually listened to my heart and didn't just jump in, because as you know, Judith, for many years, I'd say 6-7 years, I practiced law and was not happy in that profession. Since I've been, free, I've not only have been much more financially successful, I've been much more successful in every area of my life, because it's like I've found what I really, 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 really wanted to do, and something that I knew I wanted to do when I was a kid. I remember a story when I was asked in high school by one of my English teachers, and she was very being condescending to me. Well, what are you going to do with your life, Daniel Hall? And I remember looking her square in the eye, and I said, I'm going to be a publisher. And the whole class cracked up, and she had a big smirk on her face. And I said, I'm thinking to myself, you people, if you only knew what great things. And then I just realized it was about 3 or 4 years ago that statement, although I had a big windy course in my life, that statement has come into reality, into being, and it's really, really a very, very cool thing to see. So many things like that. Anyway, I digress, but so many things like that have happened where I've said something earlier in my life, and there it is.
Okay. I have to ask, how old were you when you did this?
I was I think I was a freshman in high school, so however old, at 14 maybe. Something like that.
And was there one kind of thing, or was it a series of things that publisher dropped in? I mean, most people, most kids, most teens don't really even know what a publisher is.
Yeah, interesting story there. When I was a kid, I've always been very entrepreneurial, very, very much so. And when I was a kid, I actually went out. I would go out to my aunt's house in Southern California. One time, I became very interested back in the day in mail order. And there's this guy out there. Maybe you know who I'm talking about. His name is Melvin Powers, and he had the Wilshire Book Company, I think was the name of it. Mm-hmm. And he was a guy that wrote a book on mail order, and I bought the book, and this is when I was 12, maybe something, 11. I was a young kid, and I remember my uncle, at my behest, took me to Melvin Powers' offices, and I just showed up unannounced at Melvin Powers' offices, and I was again a 12-year-old kid, and presented myself, and I said, hey, I really dig this mail order book that you did. And he was delighted to meet me. He acted that way anyway, and he basically told me what he did as a publisher. And that's when I got the idea. This is like really, really cool. And he gave me a big stack of books free, and was just generally a pretty nice guy to me, as I recall. And that's what really gave me the idea that, hey, I wanted to do this later on in life. And by the way, I don't think I've ever shared that story with anyone else. I don't even think I've even told my wife that story. Maybe I have.
Well, there you go. I mean, it's number one, you have entrepreneurial ingrained in you to do that kind of thing, as a 12-year-old. And I know for me, as a speaker writer, I never took a course. I never knew that I was going to do things. I never knew I was going to become an author publisher. But I did know that I got in trouble in grade school all the time because I passed notes and I talked a lot. So
I can see that happening, Judith.
That was my seeding. That was my seeding. And who knew that 30 books would come out of me? And I would create my own publishing company, and I would help authors. And how I ended up doing the thing that I do with authors is when my very first book came out in 1981. It was coming out in June 1981. St. Martin's Press was the publisher, and I was on a cruise in May of 1981. And I was with my friend Carol Hyatt, who actually had landed on the New York Times bestseller list with her book, The Woman's Selling Game. And Carol sat me down on 2 hours and said, listen, my child, and you will hear. And I came away from that with a totally different perspective of what I needed to do as an author to kick butt my book, which ended up going into reprint in 3 weeks. And it never would have happened if Carol hadn't given me some guidance. And I promised that I would do that for authors from then on, which I've done. So, you have these things that drop in that carry us into a variety of arenas that you just never know. So here's to Mr. Powers for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if he's still around. He was older even back then. He may be still here, but
you ought to reach out and find out. See if
I should. I really should. I really should. But it was just such a cool, and it was really neat because I remember showing up there at the book company, and as I recall, he had his Rolls Royce parked right out in front, and you pass the Rolls Royce on the way into his office. And there's a secretary there as you went into the office, and I said, "Hi, my name's Daniel Hall. I'd like to see Mr. Powers." And he goes, "Do you have an appointment?" I said, "No." I kind of cocked my head to one side, like, "Do I really need an appointment?" So she says, "Hang on just a second." She got up, walked into his office, and he was just great. I don't know, he's probably spent 25, 30 minutes together, and it was great. So anyway, at any rate, so that was the big first blunder, I think, that I didn't do what I did sooner. I'm sorry, did you want to ask a question? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I've got 1 minute to the break, so I don't want you to introduce the next one, and then we'll come back and answer that. And then I want you to come back and relook at the recurring passive royalty streams and things to do. And then if we can really tag on to getting and growing subscribers. And then clearly we will have to set up and do another show. I mean, that I see coming in a nanosecond. So give me mistake number 2, and then we'll come up to the break here.
Yeah, I guess the big mistake number 2 is that it's the balance between perfectionism and sloppy work. Okay. Yeah, that's and striking that balance that is really, really important and one of my big blunders.
Well, that's critical because perfection can tell a project. You have to learn that sometimes it's good enough to go. All right, we're going to come back. We've got a quick break here, and then we'll be back to finish up the amazing thing.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Writing and reading are moving to the cloud. WaveCloud represents a whole new community for writers and readers to connect, communicate, evaluate, and share. Writers hone their craft and build their business. Readers build their favorites. Sign up for updates at wavecloud.com.
The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and a guide to partner with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand, and is a financial success, a bestseller. It's your choice. You choose. You need the book shepherd. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You don't need problems. You want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and the chaos. At times, she's had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher, or by a publishing service provider, or sometimes even the author themselves. Judith Briles is the book shepherd if you want to create a book with no regrets. Give her a call today, 303-885-2207. That's 303-885-2207, or email her at judith@briles.com. By the way, Briles is spelled B-R-I-L-E-S. Follow Judith on Twitter at My Book Shepherd and on Facebook at The Book Shepherd.
At Total Printing Systems, customer service is our priority. We are located in Southern Illinois. Our employees have an average of 18 years experience and know that customer relationships are important to our continued success. We have been a short-run book printer for nearly 40 years and always stay at the forefront of technology. Our niche is from 1 to 5,000 copies. Today, we offer digital, black and white, and 4-color high-speed inkjet printing, a cost-effective way to introduce color into your short-run titles. We, of course, offer traditional offset printing as well. Bindery is done in-house, from adhesive case binding to PUR perfect binding to mechanical binding of all types, including side sewing. We provide warehousing, kitting, distribution, inventory management, a new print-on-demand facility, streaming browser-based ebooks, and bookstore. Call us at 1-800-465-5200 for a quote on your next book project. You can also visit our website at www.tps1.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
We went to our break. Daniel was talking about the second biggest mistake that was finding the balance between perfection and sloppy work. And I would suspect that part of that perfection mode had to come from your legal background. Would that be right, Daniel?
Yes. See, the perfectionist part of me, well, first off, what some people might find telling is I was on Law Review. I wrote on to Law Review. I was the number one writer when I wrote on to Law Review. And what that means, by the way, is that my grades weren't good enough to get me on Law Review without seeing my writing. So I had to actually compete to get on Law Review. And for those of you that don't know what Law Review is, it's basically almost all law schools have a scholarly journal that they publish scholarly, legal treatises and whatnot, and that's called Law Review. And at any rate, so I was I was bound and determined to write on to Law Review, even though I was exactly in the middle of my class, grade-wise in law school. And part of the reason why I got some very, very one of the reasons I was the number one writer was not only that I know how to develop unique concepts and express those concepts in rather unconventional ways, but I was also very, very particular about punctuation, grammar, syntax, all of those things, such that I was and still am, if I let myself, be a perfectionist. Okay, and so that's one part of my my upbringing, how I am. And then on the other side of it is if I let myself, I'll let things go out into the marketplace that don't quite pass muster, and they should have been vetted more than I would. So on one hand, if you're a perfectionist, you never get anything done. I mean, and by the way, no matter how much you fawn over it and give attention to, a work, it's never going to be perfect anyway. Okay? And on the other hand, you need to have an idea that it has to be of sufficient quality so that people actually take you seriously. So it's striking the balance in between those two is, for me, it's been a blunder. It's been a problem, and the way I've effectively dealt with that is, number one, I will write something, and then I will have several people I will actually give them pens. I learned this, by the way, from On Writing, Stephen King's book. And I give people my manuscript with 5 red markers or red flare markers, and I say, mark this up. I want you to be ruthless with this document, and find as many errors as you possibly can, and get it back to me. And fortunately, people have done that for me, and then I continue to have a good relationship with my law review. We had somebody in our law review. I went to Texas Tech University, for those of you wondering, School of Law, and on that review, I had a very good student writing editor, and it was her job to help me, or to help everyone on the review to be better writers and better with the perfectionism part of the job. And I still maintain a very good relationship with her to this day. And when I ask her, I try not to ask her too frequently. She actually edits a lot of my or some of my books along the way. She's actually edited 2 of my books. The Erasing Your Criminal Background Legally book and my Speak on Cruise Ships book. And so that was another thing that really kind of helped me, is to get a good editor.
And everyone needs a good editor. All right. Well, let's hop back and go over that, because I think that's critical, understanding the perfectionism and swampy, and there is a fine line. And at some point, authors have got to let their manuscript go, and what I tell them is, you know what? It's called the next book. The next book.
Exactly.
And my experience is books breed books. I never set out to write a book, but once the first one came, my God, it was a bunny. And it kept moving along. Right.
Exactly right.
Hey, Daniel, let's talk about quickly on that royalty stream. Do you have some quick tips for creating that?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. So this is another big sort of pivotal moment in my business life. I read a book several years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, by a guy by the name of Chris Anderson. The name of the book was called The Long Tail, and it was a New York Times best-selling book. And what Mr. Anderson did, by the way, he's an editor, or was the editor-in-chief at Wired magazine. Mm-hmm. And what he did was he actually pulled the sales records he was able to somehow get, I think as he asked, Amazon and eBay and Netflix and a few other of these online companies, and to look at their sales figures. And what he determined was, by graphing the sales figures, was that most of these large internet retailers had a group of between 6,000 to 8,000 best-selling products. But of course, there's a heck of a lot more than 6,000 to 8,000 products on each one of these sites, right? So he graphed out the remainder of the products that they had available, and of course that's an ongoing process because they keep adding new products. And what he found was that the graph dropped off pretty quickly, and went almost to zero, and when I sort of figured this out, I'm thinking to myself, we've got a major retailer like Amazon. They've got, 10 million books plus alone, without regard to any, all the other products they have. But only 6,000 to 8,000 of them, of these products, are their best sellers, right? And this is the main lesson I took, that all the products on these major sites sell at least at some frequency. And when I figured that out, I said, hey, why don't I take this knowledge and apply it to my own business? In other words, why don't I continue to stuff the pipe to bring out products, and over time I will develop my own long tail? Because what Chris Anderson found is that the bulk of the profits in a site like Amazon, they weren't in the 6,000 to 8,000 products that were selling on the front end. They were in the long tail, and that's where the book, the title of the book came from. That it never goes to zero. It's always in that long tail of the sales. And over time, as I've got more and more products out into the stream of commerce, this is precisely what it looks like. Some of my products do very, very well each and every month. Some of them don't do so well, but they all consistently sell at least on some frequency. It might be every 6 months, maybe every 9 months, maybe one a year, but they all sell, and that's the key to stuffing the pipe with good quality products. And that's when I figured that out. I figured, hell, I cannot write all of this stuff myself. I've got to start publishing other people's work, and I've got to start publishing public domain works, and so forth. And just to give you an idea, just with my Kindle account alone, I have published over 2,600 titles, and my goal is to push that up to 26,000. Actually, 30,000 is I want 30,000 titles sitting in my Kindle account, my Nook account, and in my iBookstore account. Okay, that when you start to have those kinds of numbers, that's when it starts getting real interesting. I mean, it's already getting very interesting. It's already getting very, very interesting. Because remember, with print-on-demand technology, with ebooks, you don't have to fulfill these things. I mean, Amazon and CreateSpace and Kindle, they take care of everything essentially for you. The marketing, the payment processing, the customer service, the product delivery. It's a set it and forget it proposition, and that's what gets me so excited. And that's what I preach to my people.
Okay, and with that, you're not going to believe it, but we are at the end of the show. So we're going to have to get excited and have you back again very, very soon. And what I'd like to do, because I know that people are going, my God, 30,000, we have to hear more, we have to hear how. We'll have you back. This is Judith Briles.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
All right. This is Judith Briles. You're listening to Your Guide to Book Publishing. Thanks.
Thank you for being a part of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Each week, a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take you, the author, to the next level. You'll learn tips and secrets on how to create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve book publishing success by making one very simple change in your book's journey. How to avoid the publishing predators. How to create an author and book platform that rocks. Learn how to make a living with your words and your books. Learn how to publish a book that has no regrets, and so much more. For more information, check out AuthorU.org, where authors who want to be seriously successful go. And Judith's website, thebookshepherd.com. Then join us again here next week for more. It's Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Brought to you by AuthorU and the Book Shepherd. Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on the Rockstar Radio Network.